Alright, so tonight I'm going to show you how I do the David Weekley Homes roof plan revisions. You can see on the screen I've actually got the roof plan up. I would point out that we've already done the changes to the floor plan. I don't have it dimensioned or anything. I wanted to go ahead and get the roof plan done before we did that so that we can go ahead and do the exterior elevations. So before we do the exterior elevations, we want to have the roof plan done. So we come in here and double click. Now what I have done here is I've actually created, this is the original one, but I created mine up here because it was so changed. So I'm going to come up here and actually I already have the walls turned on, which is something I was going to have you do in a moment, but normally this is what it looks like. So we're going to come in here, turn the walls on. We're going to then go to the R wall layer, RWALL, and there it is right there. And we're going to do a polyline around the perimeter of the roof. So PL, and then around. It doesn't matter if you have a width or a thickness to the polyline. We're just creating a perimeter all the way around. Over here. And close, and now we're going to move this. So we have this polyline, which is an exact representation of the outer perimeter plate, and we're just going to bring it somewhere near the other roof. And since I don't have any room, I'm going to move this one here and take this and put it over here next to it. We're basically going to steal elements from this roof and put them over here into this roof, so including the instructions. Now I like to make sure that the exterior elevations are on, which you can see they are, because that at least gives us an idea of what our overhangs are supposed to be and our roof pitches. In fact, now that we have these down here, we can go into model space, which is what I prefer, because once we're in model space, everything is on, and since we are working down here, we only see what we need to see, and everything else is in this jumbled up mess here. So we can see that the side overhangs are about 18 inches. So we know that the sides should be 18, and there it is, it says 18. So we'll just copy this item and bring it right over here. And that also means that I don't like my dimensions to go all the way down. That all of these side to side are going to be 18 inch. Including this over here. Now since it's a polyline, you could offset it, but that would only be if all of the overhangs were the same length, and they are not. So we are only going to do them one at a time. I'm going to copy an 18 over here. Let's see if we can figure out what this front porch overhang is. And you can see here that we have a couple of different roofs in here. We've basically got a Dutch hip or a gable protruding out of another roof. But you can see over here to the side that we've got approximately another 18 inches here. Depends on what you pull from, if it's from this wall or this column. I'm going to say it's the column. And again, it's 18 inches from the column. We know that these were the columns here, so that's 18 inches there. I just trimmed that off to clean it up. Now we're going to look and see what this front overhang should be. And for that we come over here to the side, and we can see that again from the front edge of the column out we have another 18 inches. So I can just do a mirror command from this corner and do that at a 45-degree angle, and that will do an 18 inch there. We're not going to be able to see this overhang because it's hidden behind this wall and this wall. But we can look at here and just cheat and copy that over, 18. And then we have this roof here has actually it's a full hip on all three sides with a gable sticking out of it. So looks like we have a 712 there. And I gotta find that side of the house. Where's that side? Here it is. It doesn't say but I'm guessing this is also a 7, 12, 12, 7, close. Yes, so that was also a 7. So if we have a 7, 12 on this side and a 7, 12 on this side, then that means that the overhang is also going to be 18. So 18, 18, 18, 18. Just come right around this corner. For now, we're just going to fillet all of these corners, even though they may not be that way on the final pass. Again, we can do a mirror, grab this corner and go up at an angle. Do a mirror, grab this corner, come up at an angle, and it's a quick way to get all those. Let's just check the back real quick. It looks like on the back of the house we also have a 7 and 12 pitch and a 7 and 12 pitch. So that means everything's probably going to be 18-inch overhangs. Let's see, 18. We have a funky little lamb's leg detail here where it goes from an 8, 12 pitch up to a 10, but that's not going to apply anymore because the owners have ditched that in place of all 10-foot plates. Let's see where else we have a side profile. Here we have 18 inches. Incidentally, it looks like we have a couple different ways of doing this roof. I'm not sure why we have this. We have a 7/12 here on this line, and that looks like about a 3 and 12. I'm not sure why that's there. I don't see that as being required, although I do see it on this plan. Here's that line of pitch break. Our plan does not have it. So we're going to go with the version that does not have it, see if we can make it work. So what that means is that everything here is just going to be 18-inch overhangs. Alright, so now, adjust my chair. We've got to figure out how, one thing you can do is just copy the whole thing to, the whole front elevation over to the roof plan. This is kind of a bit of a cheat, just so you can see what you're working on. Doesn't have to be exact, because really all we're doing is rough estimates. So we do have a couple of different roofs here. We have a 412 and a 912 that we have to figure out. So at some point around here, I'm going to guess, approximately, we're going to have a pitch break. And we show a pitch break like this up here with a red dotted line, and it says line of pitch break. So we're going to need that for the front. There you can see it on the one that we're stealing from. It's a little piece here and a little piece here called pitch break. Incidentally, they have done this wrong, because when you have a pitch break, this is a valley. Your valley will not continue in the same angle, and I'll exhibit that in a little bit. So what we can do, we know that this is a 10-foot 10-0 plate, which is actually a 10-foot 1-inch plate. And what the homeowners have asked is that all of these end up being 10-foot plates, all of them. So where we see right now a 8-foot down here and a 10-foot up here, that's going to go away, and eventually when we work on the exterior elevations, this is going to look something more like that. It's going to be up higher. But since this is a 4 and 12 pitch and this is a 7 and 12 pitch, we're actually going to have, our fascias are not going to line up. So I come over here and just draw real quick. Yeah, you can do it in this layer. A 10-foot wall is 121 inches, because it's actually 10-foot 1. So you do 121, 4 inches, and then 121 again. And then we're going to draw. And by the way, we just do a 4-inch wall when we're showing roofs, because even though it's a 6-inch wall, where the rafter sits, it's as if it was on a 4-inch wall. So ignore the 6. So we're going to go 12, whoops, 12 and 4, and close, and that's the bottom edge of the rafter. That we're going to offset this 6 inches, and then we're going to copy or offset this over 18 inches, and this becomes, and then we go from here 6 inches down and over. So this is a box, basically just a very rough, and I'm going to extend that over. That's a very rough version of this fascia right here. If you wanted, we could bring this down here like this just to exhibit it. Okay. And you can see if I line these up, we're fairly close. They're a little low, but that's okay. Then we need to look at the house and see where do they want this other 7/12 pitch to start. This one here. How do they want that to go from? So let's see if we can tell by looking at the plan where they want that wall to be. And it's hard to tell. I don't see anywhere on the plan that says anything. So what we might have to assume, here we can look at it on the side, that if we take this front wall, this is the front wall of the dining room, living room, and so forth. We offset it 4 inches because that's again how we do plates. 4-inch plate, 4-inch walls. Even if it's a 6-inch wall, ignore that. And then this comes down. This is our rafter of the 7/12. There they have it marked right there. It's 12-foot plate. So we're going to take that front wall and give it a 12-foot plate. You can see this is where that rafter sits. If we were to erase the 4-and-12 rafter, you can see how that 7-and-12 rafter sits right on that 12-foot plate. Okay. So now we figured that out. So we can come over here, and we know that I'm going to go ahead and explode this polyline here and then pop this over. This porch is looks like it's that is not correct. We got to find out where is that wall. And here's the wall. So what we're going to do is copy this wall from a common point. Let's take the front corner of the house, move it down here to the roof. That's where our wall is, right there. So we put this down here. There we go. And that is the front wall of the house. This is the front wall of the porch. And they are 8 feet apart. You can see down here at the bottom corner of my screen. Whoops. When we do a distance command, 8 feet. So we come over here and copy this wall over here up over 8 feet. And we raise it up 24 more inches because now it's a 12-foot 1-inch wall. See, 12-1. And this we're going to give a 7-and-12 pitch. So 12, 7, close, erase, offset 6 inches. And then we're going to draw a line way up here where the ridge is. And there you can see the point. I'm going to just make these solid. Makes it a little bit easier to read. They're continuous. And that's where the pitch break will actually be. So if we were to draw this across, you can see that their pitch break line is actually in the wrong place. And that might be because the original plan, the base plan, had this wall. This was only a 6-foot 6-inch deep porch, and these buyers have changed it to an 8-foot deep porch. Unfortunately, that's going to cause a problem with this roof here cutting up into these windows like this. It's going to look kind of like this. So what we might need to do is make an executive decision and change that to a 3-and-12 pitch roof. What we have to do is figure out where this wall sits relative to this wall. So let's again go over that side elevation. We know that this overhang is 18 inches on that gable, which is a big overhang, which means that it's the same as this wall here. See that? This is the front wall of the house again. We come up, make it look like this, match properties. That is our 18-inch overhang, which is, in my opinion, way too big. I don't like 18-inch overhangs on gables, but let's see. So we come back over here, and we know that our gable wall is going to come up here. This is this wall. It's this wall here. And we can see that this is where the roof and the wall intersect, right here at this point. And if we draw that across, we can see that the new roof is going to cut those windows off. So we can either raise the windows or lower the pitch of the roof. And I am going to lower the pitch of the roof. So we're going to come back here, start over. 12, 3 close, offset 6 inches. We're still going to have an 18-inch overhang. Erase and then go down 6 inches and then over. Again, we've just created a very quick and simple box soffit. We'll extend these. This doesn't change because it is still the 7 and 12 pitch roof on top of the 12-foot plate. Now, if we draw this intersection point across, we can see that it's virtually the same as what we have now. We'll just move this up like that, and we know that that's going to work. So that's good. And now we can also see where our new pitch break is going to be, which is about the same spot. See that? It's almost the exact same spot. And that actually lines up very close to what they already had for their pitch break. Okay? All of that just to figure out how to draw the roof plan. Back to the roof plan now. We can go ahead and change properties to the ridge, like that. We know that the ridge is going to be, let's erase this, that was my pitch break. Incidentally, what we can do now, since we did all this work, is take this detail here and rotate it 90 degrees. And if we line up the front edge of the porch to the front edge of that line, to our model we just made, we can see that this lines up with that, as it should. We can also see now exactly where this pitch break is, and we'll go ahead and draw it now. It's going to be a little bit confusing because it's going to interfere with that yellow line right there. That's okay. There, and pitch break. And we'll just leave it down there for a moment. You'll see what I meant. So then we know that our gable end, let's do a 12-inch overhang because I think 12 inches is more appropriate for gable ends. In fact, if we look over here, we can see that this gable that they've given us here is only 5 inches, which is also too small. And this gable end over here on this side is 12 inches. And this gable end here, you can't see it, but it is also 12 inches. 12 inches is a more normal gable size. So we just run this gable across here, just randomly placing it. And we're going to take the center point of our ridge and then trim it off. So now what we've created, this right here is this here. And the question is, where does this hit the roof? Again, we can copy this back over here. We can't really trust this drawing because it's just an example, but we know that if we were to offset this 12 inches, let's change color so that the blue line is now the gable. The gable hits this roof right there. Fairly close, but not quite what they have. Right there. So you gotta stretch that over. I'll stretch this over. And there. Well, now we can trust it because we just verified it. So this comes here. And this line here. So, and the reason why they're not lining up is because, let me erase that. This actual edge of the porch and this actual edge of the porch don't line up anymore. Best I can do is push that one over here and then do something like pull this over here like this. There. And again, this doesn't matter because this is all just planning work at this point. Okay, so this is actually going to be here. And that should be in the center of this line, by the way. There, see how that's in the center? Alright, so let's try that again then. This is here. This is here. And just, I always do circles to see if I'm actually centered. I do a circle and just stop where my cursor hits, and I make sure the other side also hits, and you can see it does. This side and this side match. So I know I'm centered. And then I just fillet this here and here. And then I erase these because these lines don't actually exist. So now we have to draw a valley right here, starting from this point going this direction. So this pitch here is a 9. And so we're going to draw the 9 going up And this pitch here is a 3, so we're going to draw a 3 going over, and that's our angle. Since this pitch going this direction is the 9, this is the 9 angle, then when we draw the line for the valley, it's the opposite, it's this direction, so the 9 went up. And since the 3 goes this way, up and down, then for the hip, it goes the opposite, it goes this way. So these hips are always the opposite of the angle, or the dimension that it should be. And this goes up until it hits the pitch break, and then it stops. And then we're going to have another angle there. So now at this point, again, this side is still a 9, so we're going to go up 9. But now we've hit a 7 and 12 pitch, so that comes over here 7. And we close that, and there, we come to here, mirror this over, and it's going to come right to that point, and there they touch. We trim out this middle part, because that doesn't really exist. And there. Now we have that front gable and the porch roof done. I'm going to pause this movie and we'll continue on the next one.